Hey everyone, welcome back to Iraqi Dinar news. You'll want to sit tight for this one because what just happened in the last 24 hours has left the financial world completely stunned. For years, people have been waiting, speculating, and holding their breath, and now the moment everyone's been hoping for might finally be here. Reports are flooding in from global banking contacts, insiders, and foreign exchange watchers. And they all point to one groundbreaking development. The Iraqi dinar's contract rates have finally appeared in international banking systems. This isn't another rumor. This is the signal many investors have been waiting to see, the one that suggests the revaluation process could truly be underway. In today's report, we'll break down exactly what's happening, why this timing matters, what experts are saying, and what this could mean for Iraq's future and for the world's financial markets. Now, let's start with the event that's being called the 7 p.m. shock. Just before 7 p.m. local time yesterday, multiple financial systems began registering new data updates linked to Iraq's central bank. Normally, these updates are routine and happen quietly, but this one was flagged as something very different. Insiders noted that the updates contained rate adjustment inputs, which usually appear only during major currency recalibrations. Within minutes, a wave of confirmations started coming from banking systems in the US, Europe, and the Middle East, all showing live contract rates for the Iraqi dinar appearing inside international trading platforms. That's the kind of move we haven't seen in years, and it's exactly the kind of update that precedes a major global currency shift. So, why is 7 p.m. such an important time? In global banking, that time window between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern is when systems sync, refresh, and update overnight rate data. That's when banks around the world align their rates with central banking networks, swift messaging systems, and forex platforms. If a country like Iraq wanted to quietly roll in new values without triggering instant market chaos, this would be the perfect time to do it. It's controlled, it's coordinated, and it gives them a window to confirm everything before public trading resumes. Analysts are saying this exact timing lines up with the testing and budget recalibration Iraq completed just last week, suggesting this move was absolutely deliberate and not an accident. Let's talk about what these contract rates actually mean, because that's where the confusion often begins. In simple terms, a contract rate is a special, pre-negotiated exchange value available to approved groups or holders who qualify for early exchanges. These are not random public rates. They're higher rates reserved for specific tiers, such as governments, humanitarian organizations, and verified private holders. These groups often fall under categories like Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Then there's Tier 4, which includes early private participants and registered individual holders, often referred to as Tier 4A and Tier 4B. When these contract rates go live inside banking systems, it's almost always the last step before the public rate becomes official. That's why this development has sent shockwaves across the currency community. For months, people have been watching for signs, and this one is undeniable. Live contract rates showing in multiple banks means the internal infrastructure is finally being activated. It's no longer theoretical or speculative, it's operational. This could mark the beginning of what many have called the final rollout or activation phase of Iraq's new financial era. And if that's the case, then the long-awaited revaluation, often called the RV, could be closer than anyone expected. Inside Iraq, there's also major activity backing this up. Local news stations in Baghdad have recently been reporting that the currency reform program is complete. Officials from Iraq's finance ministry stated publicly that their goal is to restore the true strength and trust of the Iraqi dinar. That phrase has been repeated by both the prime minister and the central bank governor over the last few weeks. On top of that, new lower denomination dinar notes have been distributed to selected regions, ATMs have been recalibrated, and Iraq's banking system is now supporting both the older and newer categories of notes. These are not small steps. These are the kind of moves that only happen when a country is preparing to go fully international with its currency. At the same time, Iraq has been reducing its reliance on the US dollar in a major way. Over the past several months, the government has insisted that all domestic contracts, salaries, and trade settlements must be done in dinar, not in dollars. Even oil contracts with neighboring countries are now being settled in dinar. This is part of a broader plan to restore full monetary sovereignty. It means Iraq wants its national currency, not the dollar, to be the foundation of its economy again. And when you combine that with the timing of this system update, it's clear this was part of a long-term plan, not a random event. Financial insiders from major institutions are also confirming that internal screens have begun showing active placeholders for the dinar and Vietnamese dong. That's something that only happens when currencies are moving into live testing or exchange readiness. Normally, these placeholders are static, but now they're fluctuating slightly, which indicates that they're tied into live market data. In other words, Iraq's new rates may already be connected to the global financial network, even if they haven't been publicly released yet. Now, let's talk about what happens next. Based on similar historical rollouts, the process usually unfolds in several stages. First, banks confirm the internal rates and report stability. Then, public statements are made by Iraq's central bank or its government to confirm the revaluation officially. After that, exchange centers receive notifications for appointment scheduling, often beginning with higher tier groups and then moving to the public phase. Finally, the forex platforms and major exchange apps display the new rate publicly. From that moment on, it becomes part of the official trading market. Right now, we appear to be in that crucial transition window, the quiet period between internal activation and public release. Reports suggest that several major banks, including U.S. based ones like Wells Fargo and Chase, are currently on standby, monitoring rate updates and preparing for potential customer notifications. Redemption centers are said to be testing communication systems and verifying appointment protocols. It's the kind of operational readiness that usually only happens when an actual event is imminent. Of course, the big question everyone is asking is, when will this become public? The answer depends on when Iraq decides to make its announcement. In some previous cases, contract rate activations have gone public within 24 to 48 hours. In others, it's taken up to a week for confirmation and market adjustment. What's clear is that the system is moving, and once these rates stabilize, an official statement is expected to follow. For investors or holders watching this moment, the most important advice is to stay calm and informed. There will likely be a wave of excitement and possibly misinformation online, but it's essential to focus on verified updates only. Don't trust anyone who promises early exchanges, exclusive rates, or special access before official notifications. Real financial institutions never operate through private chats or online intermediaries. The legitimate process will be communicated clearly and directly by banks or government sources once the time arrives. Financial analysts say this could be a defining moment for Iraq's future. After 2 decades of reconstruction and reform, Iraq's leadership has focused on rebuilding not only infrastructure but also trust in its financial system. Restoring the dinar's international standing has been a key goal. By aligning their systems with ISO 20022 standards and SWIFT protocols, Iraq is now in position to integrate fully with the global economy. This is not just about currency value, it's about economic independence and international recognition. The global implications of this development are massive. If Iraq successfully transitions to a fully valued, internationally traded dinar, it could spark similar moves in other emerging economies. Vietnam, Zimbabwe, and several African and Asian nations have been watching Iraq's progress closely. A successful revaluation would set a precedent showing that a nation can rebuild from conflict, stabilize its currency, and re-enter the world stage stronger than before. That's why global markets are paying attention right now. Another aspect that can't be ignored is the psychological impact on the investor community. For years, millions of people have held onto the belief that Iraq's currency would one day return to its rightful value. They've endured false alarms, fake timelines, and endless rumors. But this time feels different because the signs are tangible, banking systems are updating, central bank policies are confirmed, and the timing aligns perfectly with Iraq's reform schedule. This combination of events gives real weight to what's happening right now. The 700 p.m. timing was not a coincidence. Experts agree that Iraq likely chose that window to synchronize with global rate updates while maintaining discretion. The move was calculated to ensure minimal market disruption and maximum system integrity. It reflects a level of planning that suggests international coordination, possibly involving major financial partners and oversight bodies, ensuring a smooth transition. For Iraq itself, this is about more than numbers on a screen. It's about national pride and long-term growth. By strengthening its currency, Iraq can attract foreign investors, boost local confidence, and stabilize prices. Small businesses, importers, and everyday citizens will all feel the impact once the dinar's true value is recognized globally. The ripple effect could redefine Iraq's position in the Middle East, transforming it from a recovering economy into a financial leader in the region. Meanwhile, for the rest of the world, the shockwave of this development will echo through markets. Currency analysts and traders are already recalculating potential impacts on oil prices, regional trade balances, and investment portfolios. If Iraq's revaluation sets off a broader trend toward asset-backed currencies, it could reshape how nations measure economic power in the years ahead. This moment also marks a major test for the global financial system. As more countries move toward transparency and asset-based value systems, older fiat structures may begin to shift. Iraq's bold step could be seen as a catalyst, one that encourages other nations to strengthen their currencies through tangible economic reforms rather than relying solely on external debt or dollar dependency. As we wait for the next official announcement, one thing is clear: the pieces are falling into place. Iraq's internal systems are aligned, the banks are synchronized, and the contract rates are visible. The foundation has been laid for what could be one of the most historic currency adjustments in modern financial history. So, what should viewers do now? Stay informed, stay grounded, and avoid emotional reactions. The next few days could bring major headlines, but patience will be key. The real confirmation will come when Iraq's central bank makes its public declaration and global forex platforms reflect the new value that will mark the official turning point. Before we close today's special report, remember this moment isn't just about wealth or speculation. It's about witnessing the transformation of a nation that has fought to rebuild and reclaim its financial independence. If the reports hold true, we could be looking at the dawn of a new financial era, not just for Iraq, but for the world watching alongside it. And that's where we'll leave it for now. This story is unfolding rapidly and will continue bringing you every verified update as it comes in. Stay subscribed to Iraqi Dinar News for the latest developments on this historic shift. The wait has been long, the road has been challenging, but if tonight's reports are confirmed, the finish line is finally in sight. Until next time, stay alert, stay hopeful, and remember, history doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it begins quietly just before 7 p.m.